Hello and welcome to Sew with Christine. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew a female shirt. Kindly like this video, subscribe and do share. If you want more updates from me whenever I post new tutorials, do turn your notification bell on. I've placed my fabric right side facing right side, but this cloth is a two-way fabric, so I can use either part as the right side. So I'm just going to turn this so I have these two prints facing each other, because that is how I want this shirt to look. So at the top here, I'm going to mark 0.5 inch as the starting line. I will also be using the starting line as the seam for this shirt. This is the front part of the shirt. So at the center front here, I'm going to go inward by 2 inches. These 2 inches that I'm marking will be used for the button stand and the seam. After marking this, I'll go ahead and draw a straight line over these marked areas. So note all my measurements that I will be taking will start from this line. That means this line that I have just drawn for these 2 inches would now stand as the center front. I'm going to mark down the shoulder measurements. That's the half of the shoulder measurement here. From this marked point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. This 1 inch is for the shoulder slope. Then from the shoulder slope point, I'm going to mark the armhole depth line. To get your armhole depth, divide your bust circumference by 6 and add 1 inch to it. From the center front line, I'm going to mark the half shoulder measurement here. Then from the shoulder slope, I will just draw the armhole depth line. Next, I'm going to measure the neckline width. I'm making use of 2.5 inches, and also I'm making use of 2.5 inches for the neckline depth. You can increase yours depending on your neck size. From this neckline here, I'm going to use a straight line to connect the neckline to the shoulder slope. Coming to the chest line, I'm going to mark the quarter bust measurements. Next, I'm going to divide the armhole depth line by 2. From this part, I'm going to go inward by 0.5 inch. After marking down the 0.5 inch, I'll go to the shoulder slope area and I'm going to go out by 0.5. So I'm adding 0.5 inch to the half shoulder width. Then I'm going to connect all these points together down to the quarter bust measurements. From the starting point line, I'm going to measure out the waistline. I'll mark the waistline here and I'll come to these other parts of the fabric and also mark down my results. And I'll use a straight line to connect the points. On this line, I'm going to take the quarter waist measurement and I'm going to add allowance to this since this is a loose fitting shirt. The quarter waist measurement is 6.5, so I added 2 inches to this, making 8.5 inches then with the same allowance. I did the same for the quarter bust measurement. So I'm just going to mark the hemline. After marking, I'm going to rule a straight line over it. Then on this line, I'm going to take down the quarter hip measurement, which is 10 inches. Then I added 2 inches to it, making 12 with the same allowance. Thereafter, I'm going to connect all these areas that I have just marked. After connecting them, I'll go ahead and cut out my pattern. Next is the drafting of the back part. The back will be on fold, unlike the front part that was split in two. Like I did for the front, I'm going to mark out my starting point line, and from that line I'm going to mark down the waist measurement and the hemline. So I've just gone ahead to draw my lines over the marked area. For the neck here, I'm going to use 2.5 inches for the neck width and 1 inch for the neck depth. I'm going to connect the neck depth to the neck width. On the back piece, I place these two prints facing each other, unlike the front part. On the starting point line here, I'm going to mark down the shoulder measurement, half of the shoulder measurement, and I'm going to come down here by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. From the shoulder slope there, I'm going to come down by 8 inches for the armhole depth line. Then from the center back, I'm going to take the half shoulder width measurement. I'm just going to draw a straight line from the shoulder slope down to get my armhole depth line. Then from the neckline, I'm just going to use a straight line to connect the neck width to the shoulder slope. Here I'm going to take the quarter burst measurement. I'll add ease to it, 2 inches, and the seam allowance. I'm going to divide the armhole depth line by 2 and mark the midpoint. From this midpoint, I'm going to go inward by 0.5 inch. Then I'll go to the shoulder slope area and I'll go out by 0.5 inch. Then I'm just going to connect the 0.5 inch at the shoulder slope to the midpoint, then to the chest line. On the waistline, I'll take the quarter waist measurement, I'll add ease to it and the seam allowance. Then at the hem area, I'm going to take the quarter hip measurement, I'll add ease to it, and I'll also add the seam allowance. Once I'm done with this, I'll go ahead and connect all these points together. After connecting these points, I will cut out my pattern. So if you have watched to this point and you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please hit the subscribe button, do like this video and share. For more updates from me, turn your notification bell on. So we are done with the drafting of the front and back piece of this shirt. So I'm just going to cut the neckline of the front part. See the way I'm cutting this? I'm going to cut straight down to the neck depth. Then I'm just going to trace out this way. You can see I did not cut out the 2 inches at the center front. That's because I want to first fold this inward before I cut that out. If I go ahead and cut this out without folding inward, it's going to affect the length. With that done, I'll proceed to drafting the sleeve. For the sleeve, I'm going to measure my armhole like this. See the way I place my tape? I'll take the measurement of this armhole. This is the measurement we will use to draft the sleeve. I'm going to fold my fabric into 4. I'll be cutting the 2 sleeves at once. The width is 11.5. From the top here, I'm going to come down by 5 inches. This is for the sleeve cap height. After marking down 5 inches, I'm just going to rule a straight line over the marked areas. From this part, I'm going to draw a diagonal line from that end to meet with this tip here. Then I'm going to divide this diagonal line by 2. I'll go ahead and mark these midpoints. From this midpoint, I'll draw a curve just a little above the diagonal line to meet with the center sleeve. Then from that midpoint still, I will go down with a curved line. So you can see the way I drew this. This is just how to draft a basic sleeve. After marking and connecting the points, I'm going to measure to ensure that what I have correlates with what I measured on the armhole. Then I added my seam allowance. At the base here, I marked the round arm measurements 10 inches. After that, I went ahead to connect this to the underarm. After connecting, I just went ahead and cut my pattern. What I'll be doing next is the stitching of the shoulders. So here is the back part. I'm going to bring in the 2 pieces of the front part and place them over this back one. Once I'm done arranging them onto the back part, I'll take them to the machine and sew the shoulders close. I'm done sewing the shoulders. Next is for us to glue our gum stay to the button stand. So I've gone ahead to cut out my strip of gum stay. So I'm going to be ironing this gum stay onto this part. I'm gonna head to iron the gum stay onto this, and I've folded the 2 inches inward like so. So see the way it's folded, ½ inch first, 1 inch, and then ½ inch. So I eventually used up the 2 inches. We need to remove the excess from the center front, so I'm just going to fold this and cut this area off. Then from the center back, I'm going to take the measurement of the neckline to the center front. Once I'm done taking for the back and the front, I'll take for the back alone. So what we're about to do now is the drafting of the collar. At the base, I ruled my border line also at the side. So from this line, I'm going to take down the measurements that I got for the back neckline alone. Then from here, I'm going to go up by 1.25 inches. Then I'll mark down the same measurements for the neckline at the back, then go up here by 1.25 inches. I'm just going to connect this point. After connecting, I'm going to mark the measurements for the front and the back neckline together. I'm going to mark down the results onto this line here. Once I'm done, I'm going to come up here on that point by 1 inch. Then I'm going to use my curve ruler to connect this 1 inch to this part here. Next, I'm going to take the measurement of this new line, that is the new curved line, to ensure that my measurement is accurate on this curved line, the way it's accurate on the straight line. So the measurements that I marked for the straight line is what I'm just going to mark down here. Then I'm going to tilt my ruler this way and just draw a straight line downward. This straight line that I'm drawing downward is 1.25 inches. Then I'm going to connect with my curve ruler this way. From this place, I'm going to mark 0.75 and I'm going to draw a curve from the top to the edge down here. So this first one we just drafted is the stand part of the collar. It's called stand and fall collar. So this is the stand part. After we are done drafting this, we'll go ahead to draft the fall part. After cutting, I'm going to fold this part that I wrote. I'm going to fold it, then I'll turn this paper to the other side, and I'm going to mark the area that I wrote on the other side of this paper. So then I'll place it onto a new paper like this and trace out the curved part onto this new paper. From this curved line, I'm going to go up here by 2 inches. After marking that, I'm going to rule this area using a straight line. At this point here, I will go out by 1 inch. Then I will go upward from this place by 1 inch too. So this 1 inch, I'm just going to connect using a curved ruler like this. Then I'll use my straight ruler to connect downward this way. After that, I'll go ahead and cut. So we have successfully drafted the stand and the fall collar. Next that we are going to do is to transfer this to our fabric. See what it looks like, guys. This is very beautiful, and as you can see, it's very easy to make. So if you have watched this video to this point and you are yet to subscribe, please smash that button, do like and share this video. I've gone ahead to transfer this onto my fabric, and I've also cut out my gum stay for the collar. So you can see they are cut in two places. That's because one would serve as the lining while the other will serve as the main collar. So I've gone ahead to iron my gum stay onto this. I ironed onto just one part. I'll fold all of them into two and notch their midpoints. Next, I'm going to sew these parts with the lining. I'll place them right side facing right side. Then I'll sew from this end this way, following the direction of the gum stay. Remember, the gum stay is the actual measurements, so I'll sew following the direction of the gum stay. So this is it. I've gone ahead to sew. You can see I follow the direction, and after that I'm just going to notch the edges, then turn this inside out. Next, I'm going to top stitch these edges. So I've gone ahead to top stitch this fall. Next is to sew the stand with the fall. So I'm going to place this way with the fall parts of the collar in the middle, while the stand would be at the top and beneath it. I'll take this to the machine and sew following this direction. That is the direction of the gum stay. I'm done sewing this, and this is what it looks like. So I'm just going to turn this out. But before that, I'm going to notch these areas. After notching, I'm going to fold this inward. I'm just going to secure this down with my pin. So I'll be folding these parts, and once I'm done folding, I'll take this to the machine and sew. I'll do this for only just one part of this stand. This is it. I've gone ahead to sew onto this part. Next is to attach this to the main dress. So I'm going to fold my shirt like this to get the midpoint of the center back. Then I'm going to notch the center back. I'll take this collar and place it this way. That's the part that I did not fold inward. That's the part that I'll place onto this dress on the right side. Then I'm just going to pin. After pinning, I'll take it to the machine and sew along this direction, 0.5 inch. I'm done sewing this collar onto the neckline. The next thing we are going to do is to place the other part onto this area. See the way I placed it. So we are going to be top stitching this onto the main dress. So I'm just going to pin this down. I'll pin this down. After pinning, I'll take this to the machine, and I'm just going to run my stitches onto these parts of the collar. Here's the collar. I'm done top stitching this part. So very quickly, let's attach our sleeve to this shirt. I've notched the midpoint of this sleeve, so I'm going to just merge the midpoint of the sleeve to the shoulder of this shirt. Then I will sew all through from one end to the other. Once I'm done with this side, I'll proceed to sewing the sleeve to the other side. I'm done sewing the sleeve to this shirt. Next is to close the side. So I'll just take this to the sewing machine and stitch the side close. Once I'm done stitching the sides, I'm going to hem the base of this dress as well as the base of the sleeve. So that's how to make a simple female shirt. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.